bases dropped. New round of SDH AM, and I got to figure out where I'm sitting here because I'm still trying to get used to this whole new thing about where the seat is supposed to be. Because if you missed the show yesterday, I have a new chair. And so because of that, trying to figure out where I'm supposed to sit, having proximity, trying to adjust the camera. And I mean adjust the camera. Do I sit back in the chair? Do I sit up in the chair? Yeah. So this is kind of what I'm getting into. And then, of course, the hair has a mind of its own. And so all that. So if I come up here, yeah, and I guess this technically is John adjusting. John is adjusting the set. That's probably opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com on a Tuesday Thoughts. It's pretty much wide open today because we got a lot to talk about. And it's kind of morning Ricky, morning Abby, because we have so much to get into. We didn't have SOT last night. So today is going to be kind of a hybrid. We're going to have a lot of soccer over there because there's a lot of soccer over there to get into. We've got England to get into with what happened yesterday and the chaos therein. We've got Scotland to get into because of the chaos therein. We have stuff going on the continent having to do with passports and possibly having more than 150 matches replayed in a league, which seems logistically impossible, but it is a scenario in a particular league. There's all of that to get into. We've got to get into the rest of Major League Soccer. We've got to get into what happened just on the weekend in general. We've got the playoffs to get into in the GHSA. Last night we were at West Forsyth for Brookwood and West Forsyth, two of the top 6 teams nationally. They were going at it on our air last night, and it was a fantastic game. And we have the highlight, and I say that it's the goal. Let me rephrase. It is the goal that Maddie called last night on the network. And I said highlight, and then I misspoke. I pulled that back because there were plenty of highlights. I would recommend going back and listening to the match on our Mixlr channel because when we do the games live, they're over off of the website. The easiest thing to do, just go to soccerdownhere.net, hit the listen tab, and then you'll see our grid. You'll see SDH1, SDH2, and the podcast archive. If there's something live going on, we had 2 matches yesterday that were going on. And Jason was in Model, Georgia, suburbs of Rome, for Class A Division I. And it was Jeff Davis and Model yesterday. And you got to see front and center why Model is one of the top teams in the state in their classification. Shutout win over Jeff Davis. Great season for Brian Lawson on both ends, on the boys and the girls side down there in Hazelhurst. And so you got to see what was going on there on that side yesterday. And then as that match was ending, Maddie and I had West Forsyth and Brookwood. So we had 2 matches going on yesterday. And that's where we are right now with the quarterfinals. Boys quarterfinals are today. We'll go over the grid there. We got Red Clay coming up at noon. We are tracking down a time because, and this is the other thing having to do with coaches and this time of year, because you have a lot of coaches that are still teaching, we caught up with Donnie Mendence, who is at Model, and he's the head boys soccer coach. So yesterday, the girls and the girls Blue Devils team, they were playing Jeff Davis. Boys play today. And so in Class A, you have, and for those that are outside the Georgia footprint, it's the smallest classification. So you have a couple of teams in the Class A playoffs that have both their boys and girls teams making it to the quarterfinals and so on. And so Donnie Mendence is on the boys side at Model. We're trying to catch up with him, but he's got to get a class covered. So we're trying to figure out what would work for him to catch up and find out what's going on at Model. And might be in this show, might be in Red Clay at noon. So that's kind of where we are with high school coaches and everything. So tomorrow, just to give you an idea, we're catching up with Justin Osteen from Pike County. Rob Husted, who is a creature of habit after their win over Lassiter last night. He's going to come in and join us tomorrow morning during the morning show. And we're getting the noon show stacked because, remember, we don't have a morning show on Thursday or Red Clay on Thursday. We may have a power hour. It is the ribbon cutting for the National Training Center, so we're all going to be down there. We're going to be down there getting interviews and things, and we'll turn that later on in the afternoon. But because of it being at 11 o'clock in the morning and we've all got to be down there, then there's no morning show. So no morning show on Thursday, no Red Clay on Thursday because of late morning and early afternoon. And so what we did is open up the morning show to high school coaches here in the state, in addition to Red Clay opening it up for them as well. So this week is going to be kind of, when it comes to guests, we have all of our regular friends. I think Nino Torres is going to be pushed to Friday. We're looking out for Nico Moreno and trying to figure out where Nico can fit in, all the things. And so the power hour from Thursday slides. We just have to figure out the where. My guess is it's probably going to be 10:25-ish and then beyond. So we're going to go long on Friday. I can see it right now. Anyway, that's opening kickoff. Brought to you by, well, actually, tell you what. I mean, it's not quite opening kickoff because I didn't get to play the goal from last night. So this is the goal that happened last night. Set piece toward the end of the first half. And here's Maddie on the call, courtesy of us.
These are two top teams in the country and in the state of Georgia. You knew it was going to be a battle coming in. Might be an opportunity here, though, to find something just before the end of the first. It's a free kick for West Forsyth. Aaron Moore on the near side. Right hand raise. She sent us in a really good ball as it finds the back of the net. And that was all Aaron Moore herself. This ball is absolutely brilliant. From the free kick, she's about 40 yards away from the goal. And with the right foot, this ball just dips and dips and dips, and you have runners coming into the far post. It doesn't matter. It slips right through Klaus into the back of the net. 1-0 right before the end of the first. West Forsyth take the 1-0 lead.
And that would be the only goal of the match, but there were a lot of moments. You had great keeper saves across the board. Thank you, Abby, for reminding me about that. I literally don't look at the lower third font. It's one of the last things, but since Jason had to tape some things yesterday after his match, then that's why the font changed. So that's why. So, yeah, I turned into Jason. Jason wouldn't want that, though. So that was the one goal of the match in 6A, 2 versus 6 nationally, and that's all that West Forsyth would need. And West Forsyth moves on. They get to host Denmark coming up on Thursday. We're chasing Jason Galt to see if he can join us tomorrow as well, being creatures of habit here on the show. We'll go over brackets and things like that, just kind of a light bracketing, because Red Clay being at noon, that's when we'll go heavy brackets, and we'll let you know what's going on there. Tonight, we're at Riverwood. Johns Creek and Riverwood. And that is a 7 o'clock start on the network. And let me check the rankings really quickly in that classification. And I'll be up there for that one. So it'll be a really good matchup with the number 1 and number 4 teams in 5A on the boys' side. So number 1 at number 4 in the scoreboard rankings tonight, 7 o'clock, will be on a little early. And that'll be our match today. Wednesday is an off day for everybody, for high school and all of that. So boys, girls, nothing Wednesday. So quarterfinals yesterday, today, off day Wednesday, semifinals Thursday, Friday. And so we'll catch up with what happened Thursday on the Friday show, and on Friday, Red Clay. So that's the rundown of everything GHSA. But tonight, a little before 7 o'clock on the network at soccerdownhere.net. Hit the listen tab. Number 1, Johns Creek. At number 4, Riverwood. Boys soccer on the 5A side. And that is the rundown of stuff officially when it comes to us here on the network today. So here is, like I said, here's what we got going on. We got to go over what happened Major League Soccer. Got to go over what happened in Europe. We're going to preview what's happening today. We've got CONCACAF coming up tonight. We've got CanChamp coming up tonight. And there's plenty of things. So trust me, there's plenty of stuff to get into. And it is There's a lot to catch up on, shall we say, when it comes to anything and everything. All right. So yesterday, I don't know how many of you were in a car. I don't know how many of you were trying to, go from point A to point B and figure out, okay, what's going on here. But when we were on the air yesterday was a bank holiday over in England. And we had the Nottingham Forest Chelsea match going on while we were on the air. Obviously, we couldn't do anything resembling play-by-play on it, but it was an opportunity for us to kind of keep an eye on what's going on in the Premier League with two matches going on. And the early match was Chelsea and Nottingham Forest. So we had a moment yesterday in the Chelsea match, late first half, and it was a clash of literally a clash of heads with Nottingham Forest Zach Abbott and Chelsea's Jesse Derry. And Jesse Derry was knocked out immediately, and he was on the field at Stamford Bridge, I want to say for 9 minutes, receiving treatment before he was finally stretchered off. Jesse Derry came out this morning with a statement on his Instagram, and he said, dream come true to start at Stamford Bridge for my Premier League debut. I'd like to thank all the Chelsea medical staff, everyone at St. Mary's Hospital, teammates, and all the fans for their great support. Can't wait to be back playing in front of everyone very soon. So that was really cool to see Jesse Derry come back and have a statement on his Instagram because of what happened yesterday. It was his debut, 18 years old, and to have that moment happen is scary. I mean, Derry was out the second that he and Zach Abbott clashed heads. And so we do have that official update with Jesse Derry. So very, very cool stuff there. The second game was crazy bananas. Oh my God, what's going on here with this one? And it was Manchester City and Everton. Traditionally, you might want to think that those ideas are kind of reversed, that you end up with the crazier match being Chelsea and Forest, which kind of was pretty much done and dusted. And then you would think that Everton and Manchester City would be the one that's calm. That's what Manchester City is looking for. They're looking for control. They're looking for calm. They're looking for, just we got this. We'll do our thing, and then we'll take care of it. Going into yesterday, it was an opportunity for Manchester City to close the deal. And they're 2 matches behind Arsenal because Arsenal has Champions League today. By the way, the match in and of itself at the Emirates at 3:00, Arsenal is a -175 on Atletico de Madrid, and that's just in the match, not on the tie, over under at 2.5. So Arsenal favored today, no real surprise. But I mean, when you think about what's going on today, we've got Libertadores today, we've got CONCACAF today, we've got Sudamericana today, all the things. And like I said, we'll get into that. But you end up with the match yesterday being as crazy as it was. And I mean, in the first half was all Manchester City. I mean, the numbers were staggering. The numbers were staggering about just how much control Manchester City had in the first half. And then in the overall. So if I was to give you these numbers, what would you think about what happened in the match? Possession. Manchester City, 76% possession, technically 75.5. 75.5% possession for Manchester City over Everton. Okay. Shots on goal. Everton 6-4. Shot attempts. Manchester City 21, Everton 14. Everton 15 fouls compared to 5. 4 yellows compared to 1. 9 corners Manchester City compared to 5. 3 saves for Donnarumma compared to 1 for Jordan Pickford. Head-to-head, the last 5 going into yesterday. Manchester City 2-0 win. Manchester City 2-0 win. 1-1 draw, 2-0 win, 3-1 win. It's the last 5 that were there. So just in those numbers alone, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, Everton had 47 points going in. Manchester City, they win this one, then they win their makeup, and then they're tied with a handful of matches to go when it comes to points and goal difference and goals scored. And so you're probably looking like the 9th tiebreaker at this point with these two teams. And so Jeremy Doku scores in the 43rd minute. You're going, okay, cool. Yeah, they're in control. Everything's fine. Yeah, they've got it. And then this is where you pick up your number 2 Ticonderoga pencil and you sit there and you go, not so fast, my friend. And you're going, well, wait a second. What are you talking about? Well, when you have Tierno Bari scoring in the 68th minute on an absolute howler of a pass from Marguehi. Gahey tried to pass it back to Gianluigi Donnarumma, didn't have enough on it. Bari intercepts the pass on its way back to Donnarumma, scores, and we're at 1-1. And that barely touches it. 73rd minute, Jake O'Brien scores on a header. 2 goals in 5 minutes. Everton is up 2-1. And then Barry scores again in the 81st minute, and people are losing their minds. Manchester City was 1-0 up in absolute control of this match. Then they give up 3 goals in 13 minutes, and they're down 3-1. And everyone is sitting there going, what in the hell happened here? And so did Manchester City, basically. So Bari scores to make it 3-1 after being down 1-0. Then literally coming back the other way after kickoff, ensuing possession, Holland scores to make it 3-2. And then you have 7 minutes plus added to try and come up with an equalizer for Manchester City to finish off that sentence. Jeremy Doku scores again at 90 plus 7. Manchester City resurrects a point when they had 3, then they had none. And so Manchester City only gets a draw at Hill Dickinson when they were in control of the match. Pep Guardiola, after the fact, he's pretty much resigned that the title is no longer in the title race is no longer in the hands of Manchester City. They're done. It's not theirs. It is not theirs to have. And so you're thinking of Manchester City, they're lurking. Everything's going to happen at the end. And then you have a moment like this. So Arsenal over Fulham meant the margin for error was right there. You win, you keep winning, everything's fine. And so now Opta gives Arsenal an 85% chance of winning the title for the first time in 22 years. First time in 22 years. Conceded 3 goals and a half for only the second time this season. Dropped the joint most points from winning positions in the Premier League since the turn of the year. That's 12 points level with Spurs and Newcastle, by the way. City, obviously, the most disappointed. Despite extending their unbeaten run to 12, collected more points than any other side. Phil Foden had a chance late. Guardiola after the match, quote, "We played outstanding the first half, really, really good. Second half, they made a step up. We maybe weren't as aggressive. And after, of course, we gave away the goal, we take the point, and until it's over, we will continue. It's not in our hands. Before it was, now it's not. We have games left. We'll see what happens." And so Arsenal has the semifinal against Atleti today. But it was right there for Manchester City. It was absolutely right there for them yesterday, and they didn't close the deal. And how many times have we said that about Manchester City? They haven't closed the deal. chasing after a title, and they don't close the deal. It's crazy to think about. But so was the match yesterday. That match was nuts yesterday, too. Does the camera look offline? Does it look like not even? Well, it's not because there's more curtain showing than otherwise. Hang on. Nope, otherwise. There we go. Well, kind of, sort of. Okay. Like I said, I'm still trying to get adjusted to the new whole thing having to do with a new chair. So that's kind of where we are with the new chair. Hang on. So Manchester City is hanging in the balance. Who thought that we would ever say something like that? I sure as hell didn't. But yeah, driving in the car yesterday on the way up to West Forsyth and hearing what's going on, I was going crazy in the car, and everybody's probably looking around me on 285 sitting there going, what the hell is he doing? Yeah, so it was that crazy yesterday involving Manchester City. So that's opening kickoff. Brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Starting your day with the most important stories in the game, the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala. Heavy bodied, notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate, rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Okay. Couple of other things to go on overseas. Because like I said, we do have to get into Major League Soccer. We do have to get into Match of the Day and the other things that are going on in and around the planet. So there's plenty to discuss here this morning, because kind of sort of all of the things that are going on. So all right, so hang on. I'm booking guests for tomorrow. Let's see. All right. So we might have Jason Galt from West Forsyth on the okay, so Shannon Coley can come on after 10. Okay, so hang on just a second. So if we do this, hang on. So reply. All right. So, and this is me booking guests on the fly. So here we go. Coach, if I could spell coach. And this is Shannon Coley at Cohola Creek. Let's see, between 10:30 and 11 works, or noon hour. Choice is yours. All right. So, let's see. That's the link to the studio space, and it's like Zoom. So, audio and video. All right. So, and let's see. And let me warn him about cell phones. So laptops seem to work better. Come on, spell, John. Better. Where laptops seem to work. What are you doing with 3 T's in a word? Okay, so there's Shannon Coley coming in possibly during this show, or Red Clay. So we'll find out. Nothing like booking guests live. All right, so there's Shannon Coley from Cohola Creek. So Shannon Coley from Cohola Creek could be, and so Jason Galt is tomorrow at noon on Red Clay to bat leadoff. And so Galt is West Forsyth. Tomorrow, Justin Osteen from Pike County, Rob Houston from Greenbrier, and that's in the 9 o'clock hour. And then Jason Galt from West Forsyth joining us for Red Clay at noon on tomorrow. So, like I said, this might be because I sent out a bunch of emails last night trying to see when folks could drop by and visit. And so it is kind of wild. You're booking things, and okay, so Jason Page looks like Okay. So, all right. So Jason Page is today at 12:30. All right. So this is me booking Red Clay on the fly. All right. So, all right. So I'll send the link after the morning show. All right. So Jason Page from the top-ranked Walton Raider girls is going to be joining us for Red Clay at 12:30. So that's kind of like I said, we're booking on the fly here because of high school coaches teaching classes and trying to juggle one and the other. So Jason Page from Walton looks like he's going to join us at 12:30 as a part of Red Clay. So Jason Page at 12:30. It's part of Red Clay. All right. So there we go. All right. So there we are booking guests. So we're booking guests on the fly here this morning. Okay. So Dell, I do. Well, Alex, all right. So Alex is thinking that that you'll see me prepare my taxes live. Well, I hate to break it to everybody, but I don't prepare our taxes here at the house. I am the boss does the taxes. The boss does the taxes, and I basically I'm like, here's all of my my 1099s and my W-2s, and then she wants to know how much I've deducted for giving donations to things, and she wants that as a number, and she just wants that on P. Look, I don't do taxes, and full disclosure there, my entire life used to be a write-off. Because of how the tax code was. And everything that I did, everything I still do, is related to work. It's car, it's gas, it's maintenance, it's makeup, it's dry cleaning, it's cable television, it's all of that stuff because it's all work related. This workspace is as a percentage of the house. And so since it's here every day and whatever the percentage is in the square footage, it's workspace. So it used to take me Dale, actually food and entertainment. Yeah, I absolutely do. I used to. Like I said, then the tax code changed and we've kind of had to be a little bit more uh, imaginative, thoughtful when it comes to that stuff. So yes, and the short answer is yes. Food and entertainment does get written off. Like when I pick up a meal for somebody, when I'm going out and buying this, and besides, Mountain Dew shows up on the show, you write it off. So yes, I do. I absolutely do. Absolutely do. And so, and Dell, yeah, I do have a lot of sports cards. My main quest now is to buy everything from 1980 and before, because 1980 was the year of the Great Schism. That was when it wasn't just Tops anymore. It was Tops, Fleer, Donruss, and Upper Deck. And then, people tried to get cute with their cards and, hey, here's a piece of the jersey and it's a special thing and all that. No. Give me 1980 and before. That's where I am right now. I'm trying to rebuild everything a common at a time from 1980 and before. Really 1974 and before, because 75 through 80 was my sweet spot, and that's where I've got most of the sets for most of the baseball cards from 75 to 80, and then I would do basketball and all that stuff. So 75 to 80 is the sweet spot, but yeah, I do collect a lot of them. Yes, I would love for Mountain Dew or Pepsi to have logos and things when it comes to doing the show. And yes, David Sausage absolutely is absolutely true. As a 1099er, it was an adventure, but it was easy. Then they changed the tax code, and the fact that then I got married, then it literally is just the blending together of everything. The boss makes like 75,000 times what I do during a year. And so I literally am like, here's all my stuff. So that's kind of how we do it. And she's like, okay, it's April 1st. I need your stuff. And it's like every time a 1099 comes in or a W-2 comes in from somebody, hey, here, it goes over here and over here and over here. So, yeah, we have people do that for us. We have people do that, and if there's any questions, they can always question me because that's traditionally where it goes. Yes, there are traditional questions that have to do with all of this, all of the stuff. So that is that's the main the main run when it comes to all of this and all of this, all of this. So, yeah, I don't do taxes. I just hand the paperwork over and people sort it out. But like I said, my entire life used to be a write-off. Then they changed the tax code. Then we've had to be a little bit more thoughtful about how things are implemented. Anyway, yes. So let's see. David, did I ever hear in 87 when they added Social Security numbers for each dependent on your return, 7 million children of dependents? I did not. I did not. I did not hear that in 87. People disappeared. It's like you need Leonard Nimoy in search of dependents. That sounds like a fantastic In Search Of episode. And that would be 87. That'd be about right for In Search Of with Nimoy. I think that was more like 70s though, but still that'd be a great In Search Of. I was mentioning how things are kind of out of control in how crazy things are. And I was mentioning England. It is not the only place where things have been crazy. KCD, by the way, joining us in 20 minutes. And it is just as crazy right now in Scotland. And so for those of you that know Jarrett and his love for the split and all of the things, it is one of those where you are this close to having something happen for the first time in over 2 decades. Someone not named Celtic or Rangers winning everything in Scotland. And right now, you got 35 matches done. Hearts with a lead of 3 points over Celtic and 7 over Rangers. Rangers have picked the worst possible time to lose 2 in a row. One of those was yesterday to Hearts in a 6-pointer, if you want to call it that. In a 6-pointer, Rangers lose to Hearts. Here's how the match ended, courtesy of Sky Scotland. And if you're a Rangers fan, cover your ears.
And that might just be that on this day of days for Heart of Midlothian.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it, and the fans in this stadium think that it is. And that was the chance for Rangers. Good delivery in. It looked like Miovski was going to go and meet it. Chamiti comes over the top of him. Can't get the contact he'd like. But what a shift from Hearts.
They are waiting for the moment, the big moment, and there it is. Derek McInnes wanted Tynecastle in its full glory today, and after that second half showing, it most certainly is. Tynecastle is their castle, unbeaten here all season long in the Premiership. They have hit the heights again and sent Rangers packing from the title race in another game of 2 halves that we've seen so often this season. Rangers bossing it in the first half. Hearts came alive and how in the second. Hearts are winning. Hearts are believing. And Rangers are disbelieving.
Yeah, Rangers out of the title race now. But it's all about Hearts today. The reaction for the second half to go and show character, to take control of the game. First of all, to get themselves level, and then the quality of Lawrence Shankland to top it off and get that winner. This team been top of the table for the majority of the season. They've shown character in spades. They've shown quality. They've shown exactly why they're top of the table and why they deserve to be there. And this place is absolutely loving it.
Well, let's hear from the two goal scorers who turned this game around and some to leave Hearts hot on the trail of the title.
So just to give you an idea of where things are and how big of an underdog story this is. And so what they're referring to this as is the most fascinating Scottish top-flight title race in a generation. And you have this match on a bank holiday. So now, with 3 matches to go in the season, match day 35 done and dusted, you have a 3-point lead for Hearts. So right now it's Hearts and Celtic. 3 matches to go. Next matchup for Hearts is Motherwell on the weekend. So Saturday it's Hearts and Motherwell. Motherwell's lost 3 of 4, by the way. Hearts has a 3-point lead on Celtic with 3 matches to go and a 7-point lead on Rangers with 3 matches to go. And teams 1 and 2 go into Champions League, 3 and 4 go into Europa next year. So Hearts is literally this close. Rangers looks like they're heading to Europa League. 7 points back with 3 to play. Literally, it would have to be a capitulation of the highest order for something like this to happen. If Hearts was not to win or if Celtic was not to win. Celtic and Rangers margins 4 points. Hearts is 7 points clear of Rangers. Like I said, Rangers has to win out and then probably get some help in goal difference or what have you, because if they go 2 wins and a draw, Hearts loses everything, you're tied at 76 points, then it is goal difference and things like that. So right now, Hearts is that close, and Jared is really the expert on this. That is the element of all of this. Yeah, and so Abby's asking about where things stand with Jarrett right now. Jarrett's loving the fact that it is that Rangers are getting punched in the teeth, but that Celtic still has a bit of a chance. But Hearts 3 points clear with 3 matches to go, and Rangers 7 points back with 3 matches to go. That's where things. That's how crazy that is. 3 games away from their first top flight title in 66 years. That's the historical aspect of that whole thing. Derek McInnes, who, by the way, wasn't all that good at Aberdeen. You folks might remember McInnes at Aberdeen for a while back. And so you now have this probably happening in Scotland, maybe? Probably happening. And so that was that was a moment yesterday during Bank Holiday as well. And so very, very cool stuff that is attached to that. So with that as a part of everything that's crazy good, I wanted to get into this story. Like I said, this is kind of turning into the hybrid soccer over there, SDH morning show kind of thing where we're catching up on stuff since we didn't have SOT last night. And this is a story that is wild in and of itself. And I didn't know if you had the chance to see about it because of the chaos that is attached to it. Just to let you know, and this is stuff that Colin Miller is doing over at The Athletic. So it has to do with player eligibility and what could possibly have happened and what could happen in the Dutch league. And like I said, this was one of those things where you're sitting there and you're going, what? We'll go over Major League Soccer and everything else in hour number 2. Like I said, KCD set to join us about 15 minutes. We'll get that started there. Dutch soccer club NAC Breda loses a court appeal brought against the Dutch Football Association over a player eligibility case. That announcement was set to be made yesterday, and it was. NAC argued that a 6-0 loss to go-ahead Eagles in the top division in the Dutch top division back on March 15th should be declared invalid and the match replayed due to a defender being ineligible to play. NAC highlighted that this particular player, Dean James, ineligible to play because he previously accepted an offer to represent Indonesia internationally in March of 2025. The Netherlands-born defender acquiring Indonesian citizenship means that he automatically revoked his Dutch nationality and therefore required a work permit to play despite holding a passport. And like I said, this is international stuff down here. This really is soccer over there. The Dutch Federation had argued at least 11 players in the top flight would be impacted by the eligibility issue and that they were involved in a minimum of 133 top flight matches this year. The Federation's position was that replaying one match would set a precedent that all those games would be ruled invalid. On Monday, a court agreed with the Federation, ruling that the game will not be replayed. The ruling deemed that replaying the game would not be, quote, in the interest of Dutch football as a whole due to the complications it would present in concluding the Eredivisie season. The competition board accepted that the defender was ineligible for the game, but rejected the opposing team's appeal. In response, the team that filed the case in the first place, NAC Breda, escalated the case to the Utrecht, the court that gave the ruling yesterday. The court said in their ruling, as cited by Dutch news agencies, NAC's interest in being allowed to replay a match does not automatically outweigh the KNVB's interests in preventing potentially major problems when completing the Eredivisie competition. So, yeah, you were looking at 133 matches possibly having been replayed if you took every one of the 11 players that was ineligible because of this activity, because he wasn't the only one that had the passport issue. You would have had 133 matches replayed. That would have been chaos, and they would have been playing for like 3 years trying to sort this whole thing out before you came up with end-of-season version 2.0. KNVB Vice President Marianne Van Leeuwen said last week, we think that chaos will ensue because so many other clubs have made reservations. She had warned going in to this court proceeding that if NAC Breda won, other clubs will also file summary proceedings, and that could mean the competition cannot be completed. Dutch clubs must raise any concerns over a player's eligibility to the competition board within an 8-day period following a match. NAC fulfilled the requirement for the case, but no other top division match was subject to such an appeal. Club statement from NAC Breda read, an ineligible player participated in the match, after which NAC submitted a request to the National Football Association to investigate the specific case. NAC's first studying the verdict and discuss it further with advisors before making any further announcements, end quote. So keep an eye out on that. So ineligible players admitted to by the Dutch Federation, but the courts were like, nah, we get it, but it's not going to happen. So you could have had 133 matches in the Dutch top flight blown out had this court viewed things the other way yesterday. Something to keep an eye on. Didn't know if you saw this. Kylian Mbappe, apparently, and this is from Guillermo Rai and Mario Cortegana, and this came out just before the show this morning. Real Madrid is having agita right now. Flashpoints involving senior players, including Kylian Mbappe, have further upset the atmosphere since last month's Champions League elimination by Bayern and continue to affect the decisions, continue to affect the team's preps for the Clasico on Sunday. Apparently, Antonio Rudiger was involved in an argument with another first-team player in the dressing rooms at the training ground in April. Details confirmed to The Athletic by several sources who said the confrontation was instigated by Rudiger. 33-year-old German international later apologized for his actions this past Friday. He invited his teammates and their families to lunch. Following that, there was another dispute, this time between Mbappe and a member of the coaching staff before the trip to Real Betis on April 24th. Mbappe was involved in a flare-up during a training exercise with a coach. And it looks like Shannon Coley is going to be joining us between 10:30 and 11 from Coahulla Creek High School. So we'll be finding out what's going on with the Colts in the last half hour of the show. Mbappe involved in a flare-up with a coach during a training exercise. Sources say the Frenchman spoke angrily and in insulting terms toward a member of the staff who was acting as an AR on the sidelines of a match and called him offside. Such cases are not uncommon in elite football. No suggestion Rudiger or Mbappe faced any internal punishment. And according to Ryan Cortagana, the incidents have contributed to a worsening of the mood around Madrid and should also be considered notable for that reason. So they had multiple conversations. Real Madrid approached for comment for the article, as were Rudiger and Mbappe's reps. Of course, you're probably not going to get a whole lot from them at all. They're going to go, and even if the club would be like, even if the club did address it, legitimately, it would be one of those where you're like, look, it's practice. Let them do their thing. Just let them do their thing. Everything's fine. No worries. They're just, look, it's a practice environment. And if things weren't heated, then I'd be more worried. Legitimately, I would be more worried if they were just kind of, mopey moody and, if there wasn't anything going on. So, I mean, if I was Real Madrid and I saw something like this, I'd be like, that's cool. Just let them be. New Jersey apparently has also been chosen as a World Cup base by Morocco and Haiti. So they are headed to the tri-state. Brazil, Haiti, Morocco, Senegal have all now confirmed facilities in New Jersey for the tournament. Announcement set to happen next week. Kansas City is number one with a bunch of different teams there. It looks like New Jersey, the tri-states area, number two. Argentina, England, Netherlands, and Algeria have Kansas City. Brazil looks like it's going to be Columbia Park Training Center in Morris Township, which is the everyday home of Red Bulls. New 80 acres, cost in excess of $100 million. Brazil's going to have a group stage game at MetLife. Morocco is using the Pingree School as a training base. World Cup base camp on previous occasions back in '94 when Italy eventually chose to train there. Haiti is going to be in Galloway, New Jersey at Stockton University, close to Atlantic City. And the campus hosted Brazilian side Flamengo during the Club World Cup last summer. Senegal is going to be at Rutgers, as they say up there. Nation's going to have two group stage matches scheduled at MetLife, playing against France on June 16 and Norway on June 22nd. And so Tri-State, very, very busy when it comes to all of the teams and the upcoming tournament that is going to be happening. So Dell's going to be, okay, so Dell's coming to town. So when Dell's coming, roll out the carpet for Dell. So Dell's going to be here for matches, and it's going to be cool. Let's see. Taking the tour, we mentioned Fabian Hertzler setting to agree to a new deal. Mentioned that yesterday. Mentioned Jesse Derry. Virgil van Dijk dismissed criticism of Liverpool squad for taking time off in the week, building up to the loss to Manchester United on Sunday. Our Drew Dickinson was there. If you follow him on social media, you saw the pictures. Players departed on city breaks. Van Dijk insisted it was not a factor in the result. Once again, Champions League today, and Christian Chivu has won Serie A in his first season at Inter Milan. So big news out of Serie A. let's see. I'm trying to see what else is going on. We mentioned what's going on with what's going on in Scotland. What else have I missed? We've got Passport Gate. We figured that out. And we've got Scotland we figured out. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I missed internationally here. If you didn't have the chance, two things to watch. This is required viewing and reading. So Abby's letting everybody know that Atlanta United had a Q&A with Cooper Sanchez and Jay Fortune. The Hoff hosted it. So find out on your socials where that is and take a peek at it. And then Assembled Media had the opportunity to have an audience with Josh Blank. And so that was really cool. And we'll have stories coming out. Some of it's in Morning Espresso this morning, just kind of a highlight. Couple of things that were there in the highlights, catching up with Josh Blank. And it's about the future. It's about Mercedes-Benz. It's about NWSL Atlanta. It's about this tournament coming up that some of you might have heard of that's going to be here in town. And so it's a lot of different things going on, one particular venue, and Atlanta Stadium being part of it, AMBSC being integral to it. And so it was one of the things that you'll be seeing a lot of from us from a bunch of different angles and storylines coming up over the next little bit. So keep an eye out for all of that. Nashville is heading to Monterrey for CONCACAF Champions Cup, leg number 2. They're down a goal. No Sam Surridge, no Eddie Tagset. Now you need to score once at least to get it to an extra 90 minutes. You score twice, and you're 2-2. You move on to the final to take on probably LAFC. Hani Mukhtar, Christian Espinoza, they are going to be relied upon tonight. Saba's back on the team of the week, obviously, with the brace. Saba and Alexi got spots in the match day team of the week, team 11. Kai Kamara's finally retired at the age of 41. College soccer at Cal State Dominguez Hills. 20-year professional career, second all-time in MLS goals at 142. So very, very cool stuff there. Jose Mourinho looks like they're talking about a contract extension. He literally could go unbeaten and still lose the league. But there's also talk about him going back to Real Madrid. Florentino Perez wants him to go back. Robinho Jr. in Brazil has filed a formal extrajudicial notification against Neymar at Santos, alleging the veteran insulted him, tripped him, and slapped him during a training session on Sunday. Santos has revealed an internal investigation. Robinho Jr.'s reps have requested a meeting to discuss potential contract termination. And so that was, you got to keep an eye out on that. So it was, like I said, it's a very, very busy soccer over there-ish kind of day when it came to a lot of things going on. Abby wants to know if there are any supporter group members going to the supporter program this afternoon. So keep an eye out on that. Okay. So free queso with an entree at Moe's. Welcome to Moe's. It is Cinco de Mayo, by the way. Wow, man, it snuck up to me. It absolutely snuck up to me. Cinco de Mayo absolutely snuck up to me. I don't know why that was, because I'm not really looking at calendars right now. It's just all crazy. It all blends together. And speaking of calendars that all blend together, how's that for a transitional element? Someone who is busier than you know what. She's got like 19 leagues going on right now that she's doing calls and traveling and all this kind of stuff. And so it's Tuesday, and it's almost 10 o'clock. It's like 9:59 and something. So I'm going to bring her in less than a minute early because she's all ready to go. Casey,
Good morning.
Casey D, where you be? You're at home.
I am for 72 hours pretty much, but I'm home.
What does Owen have to say about this?
He is just a lovable dog, and he loves everyone he stays with. So shout out to my best friend Ashley and my pet sitter Thomas and all the people that watch him because he has a great life.
Absolutely true. I ain't doubting that for a second, because when you come home, I'm sure that it's like, oh, it's you. So where's my treats? What'd you get me? Where's my treats?
Whoever feeds them they go to for sure. And I keep myself humble that way. He was Velcro dog the last like day and a half though to me. So I'll take it.
Absolutely true. Bunch of different things that I want to get into you with news-wise, but I want to start first with what we call around here moments of cool.
Okay.
And this was a moment of cool that happened over the weekend, and you mentioned it was going to be a part of your itinerary. And I want to get your reaction to this moment of cool that happened over the weekend.
And in the U.S. women's national team, I found my people. The girls and women who thought it was cool to work hard, who had big dreams, and weren't afraid to say them out loud. So thank you to all my teammates on the U.S. national team, the ones that are here tonight, Krieger, Bueller, Casey, Yael, Cindy, Tobin, Press. Thank you guys for making me better. It was an incredible privilege to play with you and play against you all these years. Thank you to all five of the coaches that I played under wearing the U.S. uniform. April, Greg, Pia, Tom, and Jill.
To be there and see someone get a blazer and get a Hall of Fame induction and get a case of the sniffles on the dais and mentioning teammates, and I know that it was important for you to be there. What was it like to see HOR get inducted?
I've known Heather since she was 16, and we are now 26. And no, in all seriousness, I've known her a lot of years, and we've been through a lot of ups and downs together. And you know, it was special because Yael introduced her, Yael Averbush, and she just got it perfectly right describing Heyo and just the kind of human she is, the kind of player she was, player she still is, still loves to play, but just the character she has. And I was incredibly proud to watch her. She gave an amazing speech as well. And just to see her have her moment post-career is tough. And I just was so happy to like see it in person and to be there. We've been through a lot of things, like I said, and a lot of each other's moments, and that was the top one for sure.
Yep. And when you get to see someone who has invested as much in a bunch of different ways as you have, and to see that happen and it manifest itself into a Hall of Fame, what was it like? What was the vibe like there at the Hall of Fame induction to see all of these folks go in for all of their contributions, knowing that you had a close connection to one of them? But what was it like actually being there at the Hall of Fame induction?
That was actually my first time there, and I'm from that area. I'm from about 45 minutes away. You walk in and you just see everyone's name up above you, like wrapping the whole room that's been inducted in the Hall of Fame. Heather's name was already up there, Tobin's, Chris Wondolowski, Sana, Carrie Seitz, Kevin Crowe, like all the inductees were already up there. So that was really cool just to be in that and see all the donated items and everything. And I got to see Carly's jersey, and Anson was there, Cindy Parlow, like people that I've admired were there or in the Hall of Fame with some of their items. And so that was really cool. What I really enjoyed the most was hearing from every person that got inducted and how they have been involved in the game, and everyone has a bit of a different story. And it's just inspiring to be around that and to hear the journeys that all these people have gone on.
Who did you see there that you hadn't seen in a long time? And I just had this vision in my head of it being almost like the class reunion, where you wander in and you sit there and you're like, oh, there's so-and-so. And, you haven't seen him in X number of years. And you're like, a big hug and all these kinds of things. Oh, we need to share numbers, and we trade numbers and text and everything. Did you get to have that moment at the class reunion where there was someone that you hadn't seen in forever that you're like, oh my God, it's great to see you?
A few of them. Rachel Bueller was one of them, who was a teammate with the women's national team. She played at Stanford. Just such a lovely human. I completely forgot she was coming. Heather had told me months ago, and then it kind of slipped my mind. And so that was really fun to catch up with her. The first night we had a kickoff party, and I'm just walking in by myself, going to look for people, and I hear Casey White, and I turn around and it's Tobin. And I hadn't seen Tobin in, gosh, it's probably been almost 15 years. Wow. And I just haven't run into her and Kristen. And I played with Kristen Press her rookie year at Magic Jack. Kristen came up, caught up with her. caught up with Tobin, and because Tobin really hasn't been able to get to some alumni things for whatever reason. She's busiest person on earth as well. And so I haven't seen them too. So the three of them, like former teammates, and just taking off like we saw each other yesterday. And that's what's so cool about the community, is the ability to have those shared experiences and then be able to just pick right back up. So seeing the three of them, I had seen Krieger a couple times with TST, so it was nice to see her, but I've seen her more recently. But the other three, it was great to be back in touch.
Yeah, and when I was listening to the speeches, it was a no-brainer for me. When you got the shout out, I'm like, okay, she's coming on the show on Tuesday. I've got to pull that moment because
I did, and she said, and Casey Noguera was there as well. And so that's why she was like, Casey. I didn't get the double shout out. I got the shout out, and then Casey also got a shout out. So
I was wondering who the other one was in the room, but it was Noguera. Okay.
Yeah, she was there with Tobin, but Heather obviously played with her as well. So
all right. So how many different leagues did you call in the last week? Just the two?
Just two, just NWSL and MLS. Just a chill week, you know. Only 2 broadcasts and a Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's fine. It's
fine. Where do you want to start? Which league do you want to pick first?
Ooh, we can start with NWSL. I am also going to give Rob Stone a shout out. He emceed this event and was absolutely hilarious and did a great job. He should be. He's in broadcasting and he's done it for years. But I have to give him a shout out. But we can start with NWSL. I'm fine with that.
Okay, I have a Rob Stone story when we're done. So remind me. Actually, tell you what, I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. In NWSL, we finally get a win for Boston. Although they knock off Denver to do it, expansion team. Boston finally gets full points. Huzzahs and hooray! Shoot the Serpentina. They finally got the win.
It's great for Boston. I think I and everyone don't want to see a team not get a win. So this was good. They've shown they can score goals. They were leaking goals. They would get close to getting the win. They would get a tie, all these things. I think everyone could kind of see that there were pieces there. It was just a matter of getting the consistency across 90 minutes. But this is good for the league. The NWSL hangs his hat on being able to be a really tight league, tight in points. And so them getting a win, gosh, that's got to feel good for those players too.
Yeah, and now that you're finally on the board, you can kind of see everything that you've been building toward. You had the moment with Carolina where you had a lead,
yes,
and then you give up the 2-goal lead. You finish at 2-2. So you learn a couple of different things as the season's gone on here, at least early on. You learn what it takes to get a lead as a young club. Then you learn what it's like to survive a moment like that. Then this time around at home, it's like, okay, we've got a lead. You found out how to hang on and get a win instead of just hanging on for your dear life, kind of like Everton and Manchester City yesterday. But it's a different kind of hanging on that Boston got to experience for a change.
That could be critical across a season as well. You just hope to go through those learning moments and still secure points. Like, oh, we almost gave up the lead. Yes, we got 3 points instead of actually doing it. They've shown a lot of resiliency and they haven't crumbled and they've made sure they're in games even when those things have happened. I think it's a well-deserved 3 points, not because of I didn't get to study the game or anything like that, more because of the body of work across the last few weeks, like you've said, where they've had these ups and downs. They've had good moments. They've had bad moments. They have figured out how to put it together across 90. And that was a back and forth game as well. So good for them.
Yep. And everybody was freaking out about Gotham. I think Gotham might have been freaking out about Gotham a little bit. Now Gotham's won 2 on the spin and they're like, okay, Gotham's back, you know? So it's like all of the concerns and chaos, at least for 7 days, have gone by the wayside because they finally have won 2 in a row.
There was a period when they had like 3 goals and people were going, what is going on with all these attacking players? You had the Jordan Dudley, you have Jaden Shaw, you have Esther, Rose Lavelle, blah, 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 Mitch Purse, like bringing in Wrighton, and everyone goes, what is happening? And I had their game last Wednesday versus Chicago. They started and never looked back in that game. And what we're starting to see with Gotham is a fluidity of attack. They have a lot of creative players. I think their system is built for like a Jalen Howell as the holding mid to just sit there and destroy people and let everyone above her do everything. And she's a sophisticated holding mid, don't get me wrong. She understands how to set the attack, but she kind of holds it down and is like, go be you, go on. And that includes Midge Purse and Wrighton, who are playing outside back right now. Those are wingers. And they've been playing outside back because there's so many injuries.
Oh, okay.
And also they want all those attacking personalities on the field. So Gotham looks good and they're playing well. We know they always get better as the season goes on too. So that's a scary thought.
Yeah. So when you are, when you're playing a position kind of sort of, it's like you're outside back, but you're a winger. And how do you adjust? I guess this is this is where I put your coach's hat on here for a second. I guess mentality here. When you're asked to do other things that are kind of the same, but not, because you're asked to do something. It's like, well, I'm this. Okay, well, I need you to do this, which encompasses what you are, but I need you to add this to your plate.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, how do you make sure that you don't lose the player in both job titles and have them focus on, I need you to be both, but I don't want you to lose your identity and who you are. Am I making any sense?
Yeah. The cool thing about the modern player is I think that they define themselves less by position than we ever did and more from attributes. And what I mean by that is because there's so much more tactical flexibility in the game as it's continued to evolve. Back when I played, there wasn't as much of that tactical flexibility. I think players know that their attributes are certain things. So take Midge Purse, for example. I don't know how she approaches this mentally, but she is an attacking player. And I'm sure she would say, I'm a winger in some ways. However, if you have a system like Juan Carlos Amoros has that they want to go forward, they want to attack, he releases his outside backs, he pinches in his winger so his outside backs can go. He'll say, well, if we have the ball 70% of the time, 60% of the time, you will be an attacker. You're just starting a tad lower. And so I think it's all about leadership and how a coach frames that for a player. It can be hard because you feel like you have a defensive responsibility that maybe you did not have. But I like seeing the flexibility of players. And I do think we have more flexible players than we've ever had in the women's game.
How prone are you in those situations as a player to, if you're starting a little further back, then how prone are you? And I guess this gets into player discipline. It's like, oh, I see a moment for like the first version of me, and then you realize, oh crap, I need to be the second version of me instead. How do you resist temptation knowing that opportunity is there for you, but you still have to stay in the collective?
Two things. You have to make mistakes. It happens. I think the biggest part of changing position is just decision making, when to do what. And so you either have to do it and realize, okay, that was right, and those are the moments I need to read to do this, or it was wrong and you get burned and you hope it doesn't hurt your team and people cover. Or you study, you get in that room, you watch video, you look at different moments, you pay attention to other players that play that position, and you have to learn quick. And you have to learn on the fly, and you have to be willing to make mistakes.
When it comes to the rest of the NWSL on the whole, what stuck out from you from the past week?
Mostly focused on my game with Chicago. I think Chicago is one of those teams that everyone talks about that is playing a very defensive system. They're trying to stay in games, and they don't have too many opportunities to go forward from a possession perspective or breaking lines. They have Jordan Heidema who's scoring goals, but I do want to throw it out there that I think we have to remember the players they're missing as well. Mm-hmm. So Jamise Joseph hasn't been playing. Mallory Swanson is on her way back. I don't think you can sleep on Chicago, is my point. Martin Hugren is a coach that I think is very smart, and he wants to play in a different way, but he has to make sure that he has the time to do it and the player personnel. When those two players come back in, I do think it changes this Chicago team. Do I think they're going to like run away with the league or anything? No, I don't think that. Not at all. But I do think that they can be better than they are showing right now with his structure that he has, and then adding in some of those players. Players change games. Let's just be real. They do. Coaching's important, but players change games, and those two players coming back in will make them a different team.
Yeah, and I'm hoping against hope. I wish that they would find a way to stay up there at Northwestern, because I think that that's a great venue. It suits their attendance figures right now, and I would rather have a smaller venue that is full than be in a cavernous venue and you're having a conversation with somebody three sections over, and they can hear you having those conversations.
Yeah, no matter where it is, a full stadium is definitely the answer. I agree with you. And having an atmosphere that people want to come to across the league anywhere is really important. I do want to bring this up because I did see Dell in the chat saying I didn't ever give him a player that should go into the women's national team. So I'm going to address that now, if that's okay with you, John. Two players that one is I think should get more, and one is I think down the line should be looked at. So I believe that Croy Bethune should get more time in with the national team. Sometimes when your club isn't performing necessarily at the exact level, like that can hurt with those national team call-ins. But I believe Croy has such a lovely skill set that most people don't have. And the more she's in there, the more you can see that come out. So like a Lily Johannes coming in, who I don't think they're the exact same profile, but they need more time. I think she's very similar in needing more camp. So I hope Croy gets in more. The other one is Petra Torden. I don't think she's right now. I think she's down the line of someone that could potentially get some camps. I think she's well off from being a consideration for staying in there for a long time. But because she's performing in the league and she's such a surprise the last 2 years, I'd just like to see her get one of those futures camps and just see what she can do. Why not? And I think Emma Hayes has shown that she will give players opportunities. And if we're going to reward from within the league, I think she's one that can be rewarded.
Far out. Absolutely. No, if you see something, say something. Don't worry about me. You're not going to hurt my feelings jumping.
I had this like not last week because we didn't do it last week, 2 weeks ago. And I completely forgot to bring it up. And then I saw his comment and I was like, I need to say something. So
it's all good. No worries. Okay, let's go over to Major League Soccer. KCD is hanging out with us and talking multiple leagues and Hall of Fame inductions and class reunions and dancing under Serpentina and disco lights and the whole thing. All right, so you had Houston for like the 38th time this year already.
Yes.
And here is the goal from the match. You might recognize a couple of voices here, courtesy of our friends at Apple TV and Major League Soccer.
But number 5 arising, the crowd once again rises. Guilherme all the way across, and once again, Colorado just gobbles it up. This is Inale! Sensational! An absolute crackerjack from the German.
The service is much improved. It's well defended initially. However, the first touch of Lawrence Anali doesn't allow anyone from Colorado to close this space. The technical execution to strike through the ball. It's in the back of the net before Zach Steffen even sees this ball. That's how much power is generated by the strike of the outside back.
Banger. Absolute banger from Lawrence Anali. I mean, this was from what, about 28?
It was well cleared on the defensive corner kick, and he just came out of nowhere. I'm a sucker for a good first touch. And you'll hear it in every single goal call I do. If I notice that the first touch sets everything up, that's exactly what Anali did in that moment. Like, if he has any kind of touch that gets away from him, he's getting crushed on a tackle. But that first touch just allows him to hit the shot. And the shot's amazing, but the shot never happens unless the first touch happens. And I absolutely loved it.
Okay, so for those that didn't get to see it, but just got to hear it for the first time, corner kick, and there's a bunch of folks inside the 18, basically from the 12 in, and there's chaos. It gets headed away. And that's the first danger, is the recycled set piece and having to scramble out to a defensive position. Then you have Colorado coming out to defend. Ball gets to Anali. What was that first touch that you saw that gave him the control to fire away?
So the clearance from the front of the 6-yard box was given aerially. So it's pretty high up. And so when you bring that down, there's a tendency to bring it down right at your feet with the top of your foot or something because you're trying to cushion it. He takes it with the inside of his foot to allow himself to step into the shot, but it wasn't so far away that Paxton Aronson could cover the ground necessary on the clearance to block it. And that's what I loved, is it set him up to hit it on the second touch, but it didn't allow defenders to be able to cover the ground necessary to really impede the shot.
And to do that quickly, to settle, to get it to where you want to get that second touch to smash, I mean, that's a lot of things that you've got to register in a very short period of time, because header, clear, beat, 1, 2, settle, fire. I mean, that's a lot that you're having to digest and walk through in a short period of time.
The good news is, a player of that level, when you see a ball coming out and you take your first touch, there's a lot going through your head potentially when the ball's coming to you and you're like, okay. The second you take that first touch, it's like everything goes away. Like, he probably wasn't even registering anything at that point. It's just like touch hit, because you can feel it. Like, you just feel it as a player in that moment. And he was playing left back. He's not a left back. So he's probably like, I am so far up here, I'm going to take my chance right now and go after it. And it was just a capper for him of an incredibly good game, a great run of form. You mentioned I've been on Houston a lot. Ben Olsen's probably getting sick of me. But I've been on that's my 4th game for Houston. And I think I've done 10 or 11 games now, and 4 of them have had Houston in them. Lawrence Anali is in a run of form that is so fun to watch, but also it's imperative to Houston getting the points that they're getting recently.
And you're talking about a team in Houston that is having to get points and in turn get points without having a whole lot of offense to show for it this year. And they're right now 10 matches in, they're only averaging 1.3. They're giving up 1.8. What have you seen here in Houston? Obviously, they've had to navigate injuries at points earlier in the season, and then chemistry, and then try to figure out how you're integrating everybody from Bogusz to McGlynn to Ache version 2.0. What are you seeing in Houston right now that's kind of crossing wires? What is it 10 matches in that you've seen from them that makes them offensively challenged and have to work uphill like this?
There has been a shift in structure that they have had to navigate when they were conceding multiple goals on the road. Ben Olsen had to put a line in the sand of what are we going to do first to make sure that we don't give up this many goals. And he did that before the Orlando City game with a shift to a 4-back system. Okay. It seems counterintuitive because they were in a 5-back system. So you're like, well, there's more defenders if you're in a 5-back system. The problem with that is it becomes a 3-back. And when Lawrence Anali and Dwayne Holmes are jetting forward, there's less people back in transition moments. So they were conceding more goals in wide open games. They have the personality, Houston, to want to go forward and be wide open. So he had to come up with a structure that naturally kept players further back and helped in transition moments. These last few games, it hasn't worked every game, but versus Orlando City and again versus Colorado, he had a team bought into playing in more of a mid-block, in a lower block. And that is hurting Ponce at times because he's not getting service from the wide areas. He hasn't scored this year in regular season. Bogusz and Guilherme are still finding ways to at least be involved. But it has even brought Guilherme's production back a little bit. But the team's winning. So I would assume they'll stay with this and then just try to tweak a little bit to get their attacking players some more opportunities. Because you're not always going to have someone strike a perfect ball like Anali did and win 1-0. It's not going to happen every game, but right now it's working.
When you have a 5-back, and I wish I had Jason's whiteboard with me, so I'm going to use my hand.
I should have brought a tactics board.
This is what happens when I'm thinking on the fly. So basically, when you have a 5-back, and so basically it's like you have your outside backs here, and then you have your 3 center backs. When you're discussing outside backs and these wingers, they're prone to go forward and want to engage in the attack. Then that gives the opposition, if they're seeing these wingers bombing forward, it presents an opportunity where if there's a turnover, say in the middle third, it creates an opportunity to come over and hit the ball into that space that's left behind. Right. And you have these three center backs having to spread out that much more and cover that much more real estate. And that creates that creates opportunities in the middle channels. So it's almost like pick your poison.
Mhm.
If you don't get back in time or don't have the reinforcements of maybe an extra 6 or something.
Mhm.
Like
Well,
that.
exactly what we were talking about earlier with players playing different positions when we were talking about Mitch Purse.
Mhm.
You take a Lawrence Anali, for instance, and in the example you're using, if you put him as a wing back, if I and I was an attacking player, so I feel like I can get in this mindset. I'm like, well, like I'm kind of a defender. Like I
Yeah.
get to go forward. But if you tell Lawrence Anali you're the left back, oh, that changes my brain as a player. Like I'm like, okay, I've got more responsibility defensively. I can still go forward, but it comes down to decision making. To your point on the tactical side, when you had your 5, I'll go with you. If these two players get out of the picture, you have opportunities on both sides in transition to take down the wide channels. But if you have a 4 back and just this player goes forward, they only go forward when it's on the ball's on the strong side. So ultimately, they only have 1 channel to transition down, not 2, because now your 3 are coming from a different direction. So it just limits the transitional opportunities from a defensive standpoint. And I also think it allows them to have a block of players right in front, because the Colorado Rapids, I'm getting in the weeds a little, but the Colorado Rapids play with that 4-box system in the middle where they have 4 players that form that box with wide wingers. So if you get transition wide against Colorado, it's a problem. And if you don't have a really tight central area, it can also be a problem. And Ben Olsen had a system that worked really well to navigate Navajo, not allow him to get on the ball, and Aronson once he came into the game.
See, and yeah, maybe you need to have the tactics board at least near you. And so when we have these moments in the future, we're not using our hands to kind of like.
I know. Well, the worst thing is I could get up and demonstrate, but we don't want that. So
Well, but I mean, but at the same time, it's like, okay, good to know that we need to bring the whiteboard in to sit
there you
here.
go. I got to see if I can find it. I don't coach anymore, but I used to have these little travel tactics boards I would take with me everywhere.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Where are you this week?
Gosh, that's a good question. No, I'm kidding. FC Dallas. I'm going there. They're playing Salt Lake. I'm very excited about this game. I haven't even dug into the weeds of it yet, but I mean, just look at the two teams. Like they're both performing incredibly well. It's at Dallas, so Salt Lake goes on the road. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Yep, the youngins with RSL Gozo, and you bring in Gilavoki.
And it's my first game in my hometown in Dallas, so I've never called a Dallas game. So that's a pretty special, fun moment for me. And my mom's going to be around, and she'll be in the area, so I get to see her on Mother's Day weekend. So it's like a fun weekend ahead.
There you go. As always, it's great to catch up with you and pick your brain, whether it's talking about TV or teams or tactics. And it's a great education, and I love it when we're able to catch up like this.
Thanks, John.
Enjoy your call with FCD and RSL because you get to see that Diego Luna kid. I've heard he's okay.
He's pretty decent, right?
Yeah, and we get to see how many kids are starting to model their hair after what he's doing these days.
I'm going to tell Christian he's got to do that with his hair.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. And then he's got to come up with his analogies and his alliteration having to do with the follicles of Diego Luna.
Yes, I'm going to tell him. Great call by him, by the way, on the Anali goal, I thought. But.
Yes. Very, very cool. Casey, it's always great to see you, my friend. We'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
There goes Casey D. All right, now, through the magic of sending emails during a show, we're going to go to Kahala Creek and catch up with Shannon Coley and find out what's going on and with the Colts. And so, Shannon, how are you, my friend? Good to see you.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Well, and I'm glad we were able to catch up. And so now I got to find my brackets. Where'd my brackets go? Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So, walk me through what happened with Sonoraville. 4-0 shutout, and now you get to, I think you're hosting Union County, right?
We are. Yeah, so great game. Sonoraville is in our region, and they're actually a very good, talented, tough team to play. Just a quick breakdown. Our girls are probably the most confident they've been all season. Our first meeting with Sonoraville during the regular season to end up winning the region championship. It was a 1-0 victory in overtime. So a much different game than last night. Last night, I feel like our girls, the intensity level was just higher. Last season, we had made it to the Final Four. I feel like going into this season, we felt like we can win the state championship. And they played like it last night.
So if I had told you, like if we had these conversations coming up early in the year, that you would have been chasing after this particular, that you'd be this deep. You're chasing after quarters and semis, and you're waiting for Union County. What if we'd had that conversation earlier in the year? What would you have told me that, yeah, you're going to be in the semifinals and we're talking about it?
Oh, well, I would have told you how excited I was, because I really did feel like we would be in this situation where we're in the Final Four and we have an opportunity to go play for a state championship. This is definitely the most talented team that we've ever had at Coahulla Creek. We had a very talented team last season, and I said this same thing last season, but I truly believe that even this season is better talent-wise than what we had last season. Basically the same team, only they're more mature, have a little bit more experience under their belt, and just a phenomenal, talented group.
So time to brag on them for a little bit for me. So when folks come walking in, and I've called matches up there at the school, when they come walking in and see the Colts play, who are some of those folks that you're going to naturally gravitate toward on your side and sit there and go, oh, okay, yeah, I heard Coach talking about these players? Who are those folks?
Oh, well, Megan Ramsey and Lily Johnson, two phenomenal seniors, also our captains. They've been captains pretty much from the start. They're going to be two names that pop out, and it shows in the stats as well. And Megan's a defender. She's our center back. She's really the glue that holds this group together. She's also our most vocal player, and also the one that probably the players listen to the most on the field during the game. Lily Johnson has the most goals. She also is one of the top assist leaders on the team, and so she plays wing, and she's phenomenal at it, and she's got the all the talent in the world, and really those two right there, they're two that really stand out.
Lily's got 26 and 11. You've got you've got 4 double-digit goal scorers. You've got 3 double-digit assisters. So Lily's at 26 and 11. You've got a sophomore at 22 and 17. You've got another sophomore at 15 and 2. When Brianna's got 22 as a sophomore, you got you have Kiana Rivera, who's got 15 as a sophomore. You're getting a lot from underclassmen too. What's it like to have that next wave come in and help out the upperclassmen?
Well, our group of sophomores, when they came in, we knew that they were going to be impact players, and we rely on one middle school to provide us the talent that we're going to get. And this was just a really good group of about 10 freshmen last season, who, for the majority, that was the majority of our team were freshmen. And then now this season, the majority of our team are sophomores. But Brianna Munguia, yeah, she is a phenomenal attacking midfielder, and she can dribble through traffic, or she can distribute the ball. She's just one of those heady players that you don't know what she's going to do when she gets it, but she's going to do something special, and she plays like it.
Are any of the seniors looking to go to the next level to play? Are you getting looks? Is it difficult to get looks because of where you are geographically? What's the story there?
Well, Megan Ramsey is committed to play at Dalton State, so she's going to stay local. She's the only player. We've got 3 seniors. She's the only one going to continue her soccer playing after high school, and she'll do great for Dalton State. And a lot of our local talent tend to play for Dalton State. But yeah, right now she's the only one committed.
Okay. I always like to ask about losses, and I know people sit there and go, why is Nelson asking about losses? Well, I've always thought that not every win is an A+, but not every loss is an F.
That's right.
So when you schedule your non-region, and then you work your way through your schedule, and then I'm going to ask about Union County because that's one of them. But separately, you started your season with Calhoun and Northwest Whitfield. What did you learn about yourself coming out of the block that you carried with you after starting 0-2?
Well, I actually purposefully tried to schedule some tough games early in the season. Calhoun's a great program. Northwest Whitfield, literally the closest school to us and our rivals. And they're both very, very talented, typically go pretty deep into the playoffs. But that was on purpose. We ended up going to PKs and losing in PKs in both of those. And, of course, Calhoun was a scrimmage. but you still want to win the scrimmage.
Right.
And then Northwest Whitfield are really, I would say, our biggest rival going into PKs in that game. But what it did was it set us up for success later on, because we start seeing the players and where they're going to play on the field and how they're going to react to a little adversity. And, you know, you can have you can end up learning. You always hear people say, you know, we learn more from that loss than sometimes we learn from a win. And that's so true. Early on in the season, you're putting the pieces together. Tough games like that where you may have lost, but you learned a lot.
Yeah, and then there was the Dalton game, which was 2-1 in the regular season. And then you play a team like North Cobb Christian, you get a Duke, and then you go into region play. Fort Payne is always that rival from across the border that we've called in the past, and so I know what Fort Payne can bring to the table, and those kinds of things. In this playoff run that you've had, it's 8 on the board against Appling County at home. Callaway, we know that Coach Petit, they're always, the Cavs are always going to be tough, and so you survive that one 2-1. Then you get the shutout with Sonoraville. Leading into that Sonoraville game, where you had a big margin win and then you had a tight one, it looks like that you got to challenge yourself in different ways to get you ready for that Sonoraville game last night.
Right. You're exactly right. That Callaway game was tough. Callaway, you're right. Coach Petit, he had his crew ready, and they came up and played us a great game. It was a great match the whole way through. So we knew that, and going into that Sonoraville game, we kind of had our eye on that one, because we knew that Sonoraville was also going to be a great, tough game, and it was. But I will say the difference, I believe, in the first time we met Sonoraville and this time around, was the confidence level of the players. The players right now are playing with the most confidence that I've seen them play all season, and the team chemistry right now is is peaking just at the right time. So I can't be more proud of them and more excited.
When you played Union County the first time, it was in Blairsville, and it was in the middle of 3 matches in a week. And it was 4 matches in 12 days. I mean, this was like 4 in 10, 4 in 12, however you want to look at it. What do you remember from that matchup back on the 24th of March that has carried you through to get ready for this one coming up?
Well, they're a talented team. They've got some speed. They have one particular player who's very fast, and I do remember her, and we'll be ready for this go around. And I remember that nothing against Union County, but we did for the most part dominate possession in that game. We had a lot of scoring opportunities that we didn't capitalize on. To their credit, they did a great job with some countering opportunities, and then they, sometimes you may outscore someone, may outshoot someone 30-2, but it's the 2 that they have an opportunity to score that matter. And in this case, they got one in, and we never could capitalize on our opportunities. And so we're anxious to get back to a second game where we have an opportunity this time around to bring that confidence level that we're at right now and see some goals in the back of the net.
Yep, 18-4 coming into this matchup. Team 2 in the power rankings, Team 2 in the rankings. It's scoreboard waiting for Union County coming up. Is this one going to be on Thursday right now? Is it still
Yes, Thursday and 6 o'clock start time.
Okay.
Here at Cahola Creek High School.
Yeah, because it's traveling from Blairsville and through the mountains. It would take a little while under normal circumstances. That was why I was going to ask. Your defense, you've only given up 13 goals all season in 22 matches. Obviously, that speaks a lot to the game planning and what you guys are doing. Brag on your defense for me a little bit, and what has it been like for you to see them not allow a lot of goals?
Well, we have 2 great center backs in Megan Ramsey, which we've talked about. Also, Allison Mendiola, one of those 10th graders that we rely a lot on. Emily Cruz, another 10th grader, and then a junior in Natalia Tino, our 2 outside backs. Just a great, phenomenal group whenever it comes to team chemistry. They communicate well. Megan is kind of the vocal leader in the back, and she kind of helps direct. Allison Mendiola, I'll tell you one thing: she will run as fast as she needs to run in every situation. So whenever you see her, no matter how fast the opponent is, she's going to somehow find a way to catch them. And it's phenomenal how she's able to do that. I really don't know how she's able to do it, but she does it. And so, yeah, the back line, I'm going to tell you, our goalie right now looks so good, but it's because she doesn't get a lot of opportunities to play sometimes. Our back line is so good at keeping the ball away from her. Most of the opportunities that come from opponents are long shots that our keeper has a great opportunity just to catch it in the air. So, yeah, our back line, I can't say enough. And one of the reasons that we are doing so well offensively is because they have so much confidence in the defense. Sometimes you'll have teams where some of your best players in the midfield are constantly having to go back and help the defense. But right now we're playing so good defensively that they're able to quickly take the ball and send it back to the midfield and start recreating. But yeah, defense is great.
When you're in the playoffs, how far back do you research a team? Obviously, having played Union County, that helps you out. But do you focus more on yourself the further you go into the playoffs? Do you go back into the Wayback Machine and really look at an opponent? How do you handle study hall in a playoff situation?
Well, I think you do look at yourself first. You try to get the players to where they need to be mentally and physically ready to play. But then you also look at the opponent game by game. And so, we were trying not to worry about Union County, even though I did see them up there in the bracket, and I anticipated that they would win their part of the bracket. We had to still beat Callaway and Sonoraville, so we were still focusing on those one game at a time. But yeah, Union we've kind of circled because Union is our one loss in region play where they beat us 1-0. And so that one we were anxious to get back with a second opportunity to redeem ourselves. And so it just worked out that we have that opportunity. But we study them, we know them, they're in our region. We had a great game last season. Their coach, Mark Wade, he's newer to the program, but he's doing a fantastic job. And so they're going to be tough.
When it comes to the community, and I know that you've had the chance to develop the program over time to where it is right now, but what has the support been like for the program on the whole? What's it like, student body, administration, the Coahulla Creek community? What's the support level like up there?
Well, Whitfield County is considered Soccer Town, USA. Lot of state championships on the boys' side, from Dalton to Southeast to Northwest Whitfield to Coahulla Creek. So the girls programs, and I'm speaking a lot from the girls programs because I've coached boys and girls here at Coahulla Creek, and the girls programs are on the rise. And a lot of that has to do with the amount of really good opportunities for the girls to play at high levels of soccer. We've seen that, with the boys programs, they're playing every weekend, local leagues, but then also on the club scene. And so now the girls, they have really good outlets with the NSA Bells. They've got in the North Georgia Soccer, the GHSA. They also have, some of them still can go up to Chattanooga FC and play. But there's just so many great opportunities now for our girls whenever it comes to the club scene that I think that's really, really helped the girls programs in general. Most of the best players on our high school girls teams, they're playing club.
6:00, day after tomorrow at Coahulla Creek. It is a rematch. Capital R, Union County, listed as Team 14 in the power rankings, and they are number 9 in the rankings, going up against you, number 2, Coahulla Creek in the power rankings, Team 2, rankings number 2. Shannon, it's great to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
Do you need a note to get back into class? Are you okay?
No, but I do appreciate being able to get out of class, so I thank you for that.
No worries. Be good, my friend. Have a great matchup with Union County. We'll catch up with you on the flip side.
Awesome. Thank you, John.
There we go. Shannon Coley, head coach at Coahulla Creek. And like I said, David, when you were talking about you find out how the sausage was made, that is how the sausage gets made. Literally, Shannon, I sent out. Let me check my legal pad here real quick. I will tell you how many emails I sent out late last night. So it was 8. I sent 8 emails out last night after the games went final, and I was going back and forth with, oh wow, and Donnie Mendez. Oh wow, this is great. Okay, so we go back to back. Hey Donnie,
Hey, how's it going?
you tell me. You're the one who's getting ready for games, man.
Oh yeah. I guess it's more nerve-wracking for coaches than it is players.
By the way, Donnie Mendez, he's the head coach on the boys' side, and I can't thank you enough for doing this on the hop because. And thanks for all of your help yesterday with the Jeff Davis match and everything going on up there at Model. For those that don't know, what's it like for you and Lauren to have the program going full bore and just gangbusters right now up there at Model on both the boys and the girls side?
It's fun. It's been a really good experience. The seniors that I've got, I mean, they're a winning program. They haven't had a year where they haven't won. They've won region 4 years in a row. I believe they're up to 68 wins. So I mean, it's a really impressive group. Really, really strong group, good group of leaders. I'd put them up against anybody, and we've gone against some bigger schools. We've beaten some bigger schools. We've lost to some bigger schools, but yeah, it's been a fun year. Really good atmosphere around here. It's real fun when we get double headers. And we've got our announcer does a great job for us. We got all kinds of sound effects. We got the lights going. It's pretty cool around here.
17-3. If I had told you that you would be 17-3, getting ready for this particular round of the playoffs, I know that there's an expectation level, but if I had told you that you would be 17-3 getting ready for it, what would you have told me?
Well, it depends on what point in the season you would have told me. If you'd have told me at the beginning of the year, I might not have agreed with you.
Okay.
Based on the fact that we graduated so many seniors last year as well on the defensive end. I mean, I lost my whole defense, and the guys this year have really stepped it up on defense. It helps that we have a really good offense to keep the ball away from those guys. Also helps that I have a really good goalkeeper. He kind of saves them when they do make mistakes. But yeah, I thought we might have a good team, but I wasn't quite sure about 17-3. You kind of look at the schedule and you're like, well, we could probably win this many games or whatnot. But yeah, I'm very surprised that at 17 wins, and I hope we can keep it going.
All right, so then you're getting ready for the matchup against Jasper County right now. Your team number 1 in power, your team number 1 in ranking. Jasper County's coming to town. They're number 9 in the power rankings. They shut out Coosa. They went to Lions to beat Toombs, and now they're coming to visit you. What has study hall been like getting ready for this one?
Just trying to figure out what we're going to get from them. I feel like being that number 1 seed, it's kind of a blessing and a curse. You get to host, but then also, everybody's gunning for you. Everybody wants to take down the number 1 seed. To me, like the seeding doesn't really matter as far as, they're 9. So what? There are some teams that are above them that might not be as good as them. There's some teams below them that might be better than them. I mean, we're above everyone. We might not be as good as everyone. I mean, it really just matters for home seating. But yeah, we know they're a good team, and we expect their best effort. Yeah, it's always hard to tell. Like you look at scores of other games and you try to figure out where you fit in with this team, but not having ever seen them, that part makes it a little complicated. So I guess we'll once the whistle blows, we'll have a better idea.
How far back when it comes now, because you said it's kind of difficult to get a read on them, was it difficult trying to find tape? Were you focusing on yourself and just kind of saying, okay, we'll figure it out in the first 15 minutes or so? How are you handling this?
You always want to try to see an opponent. I know that earlier in the year, I'd actually watched them before I had any idea that we would play them. Just if I don't have anything going on, and I don't have an opponent coming up on a Friday night or something, I might just pull up some soccer games. And I watched them play Ace, and it was a good matchup. But like I said, it wasn't a matchup that I was scouting. I was just kind of randomly watching and and just kind of enjoying the game. And here we are playing them, and I'm like, man, what happened in that game? I really don't remember. But yeah, I know they're a good team. I know they've got some solid players in their group. A really good striker, really good center midfielder. They got a pretty fast defender in the back, and I know the goalkeeper is really good. So yeah, you always want to know a little bit about your opponent. I do know about us, and so the thing about us is I got to make sure we're putting forth our best effort.
Number 1 versus number 7, upper left-hand part of the bracket. It is Jasper County at Model tonight on campus. So if things are going well for you, I want you to brag on your players here a little bit. Offensively, I come walking in the door, and I'm sitting down right there at center line, and I get to see you for the first time this year. When things are going well, who do I naturally gravitate toward offensively that has contributed to the success you've had this season?
Ooh, I mean,
choice D, all the above. Yeah.
You really can select 6 different guys for us. If you look at our games, and we don't have the guy with 40 goals this year. We don't have a guy with 30-something goals. I've got a guy with close to 20 goals. I got to get another guy with 18. Got another guy with 12. I mean, we're all over the place. There's one game where one guy might really stand out, and then the next game he doesn't have such a great game, but then his teammates lift us up. I mean, there's a bunch of guys. I think every one of our guys on offense. My center midfielders are both really good players. They might not always have the stats. One of them does. He's got pretty good stats. Ray Camacho. The other one, Zeke Donner. He's one of our best center midfielders, one of our best players, and he moves the ball really well. Kind of gets us going. He's our leader. Yeah, if you come out and watch us, I think he's one of the first ones you'd point out and be like, man, he's a really good player. We've got a forward up top, Brennan Dahl. He scored a lot of goals for us this year. We also have John Miles Mason, another forward for us. His stats don't quite look as impressive, but he only has played half the season due to basketball. And we have a really good basketball program here. So when I have guys that carry over, they only get half our season. So yeah, Brady Gibson is another one that, I mean, he's come out of nowhere. The improvement he has made from his junior to his senior year, he got a little bit of time last year, literally didn't score a goal. And then this year he's up to, I think, 12 or 13 goals.
When it comes to this group of seniors that you have, how many of them are getting looks to the next level? How many of them want to play at the next level? Do you have that vibe yet?
Yeah, so there's been a few of them that I know have had some interest. I've spoken to some college coaches. Our goalkeeper has had some interest from a few clubs. Our forward has had some interest. It's kind of funny. Like I haven't had a ton of kids that really want to continue to play, or maybe they do want to continue to play, but it depends on where they're going. If the team has a program, Zeke, like I mentioned, he's going to UGA, so they don't have a college program. They probably have some intramurals. They might have a club program, but yeah, a lot of my guys are very academic focused, and so I think that's their big thing.
Okay, because the reason I ask is because as a part of our DNA, when I'm over at Georgia Public with Make That Kid an Offer, with it, Matt Stewart and I do for the FOOTBALL. Here at SDH, we have the Georgia Call Up, which is the same thing. And that's why I was wondering if there was someone that is the total package, academics, athletics, extracurriculars, wants to go to the next level and play the sport. I didn't know if anybody fit that bill for you with what you've been able to build with that program.
There's a few guys that definitely could if they chose to go that route. Like I said, our goalkeeper, he's getting a few looks from people, and I believe he definitely can play at the next level. Mm-hmm. My forward, Brennan Dahl, could play at the next level. Had some looks. I'm not sure if he's already decided where he's going and if he's planning to pursue soccer at the next level. I mean, really any one of them. The guys that I just mentioned, Brady, Zeke, Ray, they could all play at the next level if they really chose to.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, it's something that we do with seniors that are, in their senior season. And if there was somebody that was a total package, that's why I was asking for that, just kind of like as a spotlight sense of things. Okay. I know that you're going to be getting ready or trying to have people like not talk to you for a little bit when you have a match day like this, and folks are coming up from Monticello, and you're playing a little earlier? How disjointed is match day for you, when it comes to having to balance being a teacher and getting everything ready? What is game day like for you on a game day like this, where people like me are saying, hey, come on a show and talk about it for a minute? How crazy are match days for you right now?
So I guess it depends on a normal school day. Right now, not necessarily a normal school day for us. We've got state testing going on.
Okay.
So that's why it's a little easier to come and join you, because half my class is testing and the other half is just sitting in the classroom. It's kind of hard to get things going when you got your kids everywhere. But yeah, it's not too much of a distraction. I'd rather be distracted in school and not have to even think about soccer. But I mean, you know how that goes. I'm definitely going to be thinking about it, talking to other high school coaches in the area, just like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Just talking soccer 24/7. And routine wise, we were able to kind of keep our same routine. Jasper being a little bit closer to us, they were willing to play a little bit later than some of the teams might be. Had we played like a Toombs County, they're coming from a little farther. They might have wanted to play earlier, but Jasper was willing to play a little bit later. So we're able to kind of keep our same routine as far as the players are concerned. Keep our pregame rituals as far as pregame meals and stuff like that.
When you have questions, and I know that, with the success that you've built, I know people might have you on speed dial. It's like, okay, I've got a question about logistics or day-to-day or what have you. When you have questions yourself about operations or matchups or tactics or anything like that, who's on your speed dial that you can sit there and go, yeah, I want to, I got to ask you a question. Who's going to pick up immediately and answer those questions for you?
That's a tough question.
No one's going to pick up if they say, oh, it's Donnie, I'm not answering the phone.
That they might, yeah, or at least they might tell me that. Now there's a few guys in the area, in the surrounding area, that I talk to a lot about soccer. Kevin King is a coach at Cedartown. I talk a lot of ball with him. He coaches our girls, the girls' high school players. He coaches them in travel. So he's always at our games. He was actually at our game last night. I talked to him. He's one of them for sure. Mike Petit at Callaway is a real good buddy of mine that we talk all the time. I talked to Mike Townsend at Troop. I mean, there's a little bit of every way. I'm talking to Jason Fields last night at Bremen. Just how you feeling about this game coming up? And so, we have an interesting possibility to where Bremen wins and we win, and we could see each other in the Final Four. I mean, that would be a crazy situation, but that might be a fun matchup.
Yes, it would, and that is why we're keeping an eye on it, just to kind of see what's going on with everything there, and that's why I wanted to ask about speed dials and things like that, because Petit, he'll come on the show and he'll talk our ear off, and I love it when he gets to hang out with us. We've known Mike Townsend forever from his time at Trinity Christian, so I didn't know what your support system was, and that's why I was asking, for a situation like that. When it comes to all this noise that we have, you're in a quarterfinal. Do you embrace it on social media where your players are looking at social media and everything, and it's like we know it's a big game? Or do you try to tune out the conversations? It's like, you're not going to tell folks, I was doing a morning talk show and I just got off the phone, I just got off the air with them. Do you have the players embrace the whole social media and attention, or do you try to have them tune it out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we really focus on it either way, like unless it's negative. I try to get them to stay away from the negative stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't be out there running your mouths, being stupid, anything like that.
Pardon this interruption.
Sorry, 1 second.
At this time, please release the girls' tennis team to go. Again, at this time, please release the girls' tennis team to go.
Yeah, so we're very fortunate at Model where we have a lot of spring success. So the girls' tennis team's about to go have a state playoff match.
Go get a state playoff game in tennis. Go for it.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I try to keep them away from any negative banter. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay with them looking at the stuff on social media. Um, I try to tell them, in the grand scheme of things, it's just another soccer game.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, you have the added pressure of it's one and done. But yeah, I do think we have a little experience going into it.
Yes.
So these guys have been to. I'm pretty sure I was looking at. I'm pretty sure they've at least gone to the Elite Eight every year
Oh,
that
wow.
they've been in school. So yeah, I think to them, like they've been here before, they know how this feels. Hopefully, we can make it to the Final Four, and they've been there a few times as well. So yeah, I think yes, it is a big game, but they also know, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's just another soccer game. Once the whistle blows, all the nerves and stuff are going to go out, and it's
Number
just
one.
two teams playing hard.
Number 1 versus number 7, Model tonight, 17-3, hosting Jasper County at 14-7, 7 o'clock. One more question before I let you go. Do you need a note? Well, 2 then, including this one. Do you need a note to get back in class, or are you okay?
No, I'm good.
Okay. The support that is up there for both of your programs in the community, there in the high school, for someone who doesn't know, what's it like? What's the support like up there in the community for what you've been able to accomplish on the field?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. If you start at our administration, they're always very supportive. Anything that we need or anything we want to do, they've got our backs on it. As far as the community, when you come to our games, and once we start getting these later playoff games, you're going to notice that there's a crowd. Last year we were able to host our Murchie for the Final Four. I mean, they're 15 minutes down the road. The place was packed. It was like a football game atmosphere around here.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very fun atmosphere. From what I hear, Jasper County is going to bring a lot of fans tonight. So I assume it's going to be a really fun atmosphere tonight. I hope ours show up as well. So
Looking forward to it. Donnie, I can't thank you enough for dropping by. And I know on a game day it could be kind of rough, especially when you're juggling teaching duties. But I'm glad that you got somebody to sit and keep an eye on the class that's not testing. And good luck with the testing. And just have a safe match and have a great match. And we'll be keeping up with things. Thanks for dropping by on short notice this morning as you're getting ready for a quarterfinal.
all right, thank you, John.
There we
Appreciate
go.
it.
There's Donnie Mendence, who's the boys head coach at Model. And that is Class A Division I boys. It is number 1 versus number 7 right here in the brackets. So here's what Donnie was talking about. So he's up here in the bracket. He's up here upper left. And there's the possibility of Bremen at number 20 if they continue their upset run. We've had Thomasville on red clay. So everything you could have Thomasville at Model in the semifinals on the left-hand side of the bracket. You could have that one there. And trust me, we're keeping an eye on the left-hand side of the bracket in Class A Division I. So keep an eye on that tonight. So Model and Jasper, and it's great to have Donnie come in and catch up with us there and let us know what's going on. Jason Lannon, the AD at Tryon, called, and I'll answer that one when we're off the air, and hopefully we can catch up with our friends from Tryon at some point, either later today or tomorrow. So coming up at noon, it is Red Clay, and it's Red Clay Tuesday. So we'll set up your brackets, let you know what happened after last night. And Jason Page from Walton, I think, is going to be joining us at 12:30. So we'll keep an eye out on that. So number 1 girls ranked team in the country, Walton Raiders. Jason Page, their head coach, joining us at 12:30. And we've got the siren out for another couple of folks. So Jason Galt is noon tomorrow. So there are 5 coaches that are hanging in the balance right now that I talked to, and possibly more after what happens tonight. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on and let you know what the high school playoffs are going to be yielding. But no, it was great to catch up on the fly with Shannon Coley from Cahulla Creek and Donnie Mendence from Model. So very, very cool stuff there. All right. Before we get out of here, gossip, rumor, innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, and we'll do it on the hop. All right. So as seems increasingly likely, Real Madrid and the possible reunion. Phil Foden agreed to a new deal with Manchester City. It's a 4+1. And Alexis Sanchez and his efforts have lifted Sevilla out of the drop zone in La Liga. Esteval is headed back to Palmeiras for injury rehab. And Odegaard and Kai Havertz are listed as fit for Arsenal for the matchup later today against Atleti. Arsenal is favored at a minus 175. They are up and so as they try to close it out today, they're a minus 175. Atleti is a plus 475. And we will obviously keep an eye out on that. It looks like Barcelona is now keen on Anthony Gordon. And that's according to Matteo Moretto. Projected cost of any future transfer very high. England international remains a player of interest for Barca alongside Real Betis, Abde Ezzalzouli. Gordon also heavily linked with a move away from Newcastle this summer. Bayern, Arsenal, Liverpool all reported to be interested. Bruno Fernandes is Galatasaray's dream target, according to Sky Germany and Florian Plettenberg. They are keen to get in contact with the player's reps. Longtime admirers of Fernandes, trying to sign him in January of this year. 33 years old, 28 goal participations, involvements in all comps this term, under contract through June of 27. Juve have made Liverpool's goalkeeper Alisson their top target this summer, according to Sky. Brazil international about to enter the final year of his contract, could be on the move in the coming months. Liverpool is aware, in quotation marks, of the situation, keeping an eye on potential replacements should Alisson call time. Been on the Merseyside since 2018, 2 Premier League titles and Champions League. Manchester United lining up a summer move for West Ham midfielder Mateus Fernandes, according to the Telegraph. Expected to leave if they're relegated. Several other clubs tracking development. United also shortlisted Adam Wharton and Elliot Anderson. Chelsea ramping up their pursuit of Club Brugge defender Joel Ordóñez, according to Team Talk, watched by Chelsea scouts this last weekend. His Bruges side secured an impressive 3-1 win against Anderlecht. Ordóñez has been on Chelsea's radar for years. Liverpool, United, Spurs, Villa tracking his development. Also, other rumors that are on the board. Inter Milan looking to make a proposal to Real Madrid for striker Nico Paz. Striker looks set to return to the club with a buyback clause in his Como deal, but could leave shortly thereafter. That's from Corriere dello Sport. Team Talk. Scott McTominay close to signing a new contract extension with Napoli. Do it. Considering what Fresh Tomatoes have apparently done to McTominay at Napoli, 29 years old, sign him. Manuel Neuer from Plettenberg wants to extend his contract at Bayern, offer until 27 on the table. It would take the 40-year-old keeper to 16 years at the club. Ekrem Konur, Manchester City's Ederson, facing an exit from Fenerbahce. Clubs in the league that we don't talk about are interested. Nikola Shira, Villa have shown interest in Galatasaray midfielder Gabriel Sarra, 2 years on from his switch at Norwich. Football Insider, Manchester United want to add a center back this summer, having suffered injuries in the back line this year. Jorge Mendes pushing on a plan to get Bernardo Silva to Barcelona as a free agent, with a, quote, delicate negotiation period coming up for the Manchester City midfielder. And according to Konur again, Spurs, Villa, Leeds. Internal checks over potential move for Attaco Leo Cienza from Southampton. Now, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Brought to us by our friends at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. That link is important. It helps us out, helps them out, helps you out, adding to your subscriptions and your streaming services that you have already. Gets you heavy into the South American market. You get all the BNs, which means you get ties to Tigo Sports and you get ties to CATV. You get Libertadores and Sudamericana. Those are going on tonight. We'll check the juice boxes in a bit. You have that going on. You get everything in you get everything in CAF, in AFCON, CAF Champions League, everything on the African continent. You get the French League, the Turkish League, and the Polish League. All the BNs that are there. You also get the LPF out of Argentina, Liga 1 Max Pro out of Peru, a lot of the other A and B divisions in a lot of other countries in South America. And you get TVV out of Venezuela if you want to add it on. If you have a certain cable system here in the Atlanta area, it's already there. If you have the Spanish package available to you, which is what I have here in the house, so I can watch TUDN and Unimas and etc. Also, if you are interested, you can also watch CDO from Chile, TSA from Argentina, all of that in their great coverage. They have Copa Argentina broadcasts there as well. It's at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Today, we mentioned Arsenal in Champions League. BN has Libertadores at 6 and 8. They have Copa Sudamericana at 10. CBS, big CBS, has Champions League. FS1 has CONCACAF Champions League with Tigres and Nashville. That's at 9:30. FS2 has the league we don't talk about at 2. CanChamp tonight with Toronto and Ottawa is at 7:30. Being an Espanol simulcasting Libertadores and Sudamericana. Fox Deportes, the league we don't talk about, at 2. 2 to NA Champions League at 3. CONCACAF at 9:30. Univision is simulcasting Champions League. Fox ONE has Saudi, has CanChamp, and has CONCACAF. And Paramount Plus has Arsenal and Atleti. That is today. Now, what else was I going to do? There was something that I thought I was going to talk about, but I completely and totally blanked on it. Oh, the Rob Stone story. Forgot to mention this to Casey, but I will mention it to you. I've known of Rob ever since he was an anchor in Albany, Georgia at the Fox affiliate. And I have known Rob since then with my time at Prep Sports Plus. So that is how far back I have seen Rob, and I have seen Rob knowing that he had it. I go that far back. But if there's ever a video that encompasses Rob Stone as a sideline reporter, it was a game at New Mexico State where he was sampling their they have an agronomy program where they were trying to come up with the hottest peppers on the planet. Rob made the fatal mistake, and although he did have milk available to him, he made the fatal mistake of sampling their hottest pepper. It's on YouTube. Go watch it, and it's a good laugh, but it also breaks down everything that Rob is and can be on camera. So very, very cool. So that's my Rob Stone story. I forgot to tell it to Casey, but I'll tell it to you. Okay, coming back in a little less than an hour, we'll break down brackets as we have them. And Jason Page, head coach at Walton, set to join us at 12:30. Then once again, tonight, it is at Riverwood, and it is number 1 Johns Creek and Riverwood on the boys' side. So it is, as I look at my classifications, it is not in that one. It is not in that one. It is 5A on the boys' side. So where's my 5A boys bracket? There's my 5A girls bracket. So 5A boys bracket, and it is low left in the 5A boys bracket. That's private, so of course it's going to be the last one I pull. Johns Creek number 1, Riverwood number 6 in the power rankings. But in the rankings, it is number 1 versus number 4 in 5A, according to the rankings and our friends at Scoreboard. Johns Creek at 19-1, Riverwood at 14-6. Tonight, 7 o'clock. We'll be there a little before 7 to get you started. It'll be you and me, and we're going to hang out for that matchup. Number 1 versus number 4 in the Scoreboard rankings, and it is it's going to be a great time. Region 6 champ going up against the Region 7 champ, low left. Winner of that one gets Northgate and Decatur in the semis on the left-hand side of the bracket, and we'll break it all down for you as we go. Red Clay coming up in about 45 minutes. We're going to start breaking it down for you there, and then what we'll do is we will catch up with folks from Walton and anybody else that wants to come and drop by between 12 and 1 o'clock. So that's the rundown for another morning. Thanks to Donnie Mendez at Model. Thanks to Shannon Coley at Cahola Creek. Thanks to KCD in hour number 2, breaking down everything from a Hall of Fame visit to the NWSL to what we're seeing from Lawrence and Ollie and Houston Dynamo at Hell in a Shell. Thanks to all of you for putting up with it. Morning, Dell. Morning, Abby. And let me say hi to everybody that was here in the Twitch pitch before we jump. So it's Dell and Abby. And Dell, thank you for re-asking the question. And let's see. So there's Abby and Dell and David. And let's see. Who else am I missing? Morning, Ricky. And yes, Lassiter lost on the road to Greenbrier. So let's see. There's Dell and Ricky. And that's it for Twitch Pitch. And thanks to all of you who are watching, but don't necessarily contribute, because we couldn't do it every day without you out there as well. It's another go round of SDH AM back in about 45 minutes for Red Clay Tuesday. And we break it all down for you from the high school side of things. We look at brackets, look at matchups, look at everything, and we'll catch up with you coming up on the flip side. Since it is the end of the show, Mucha Platiel, play it safe. It means I get to do this. See at the top of the hour, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente.